This week at Shuchin Academy, let's drop the theatrical intro speech this week. Ishigami certainly wouldn't want it. Kaguya-sama Love is War Season 2 Episode 11 was hard to watch for all the right reasons. What an incredible episode that was, the heartbreak, the endless pain, a tunnel without an end, and yet Ishigami managed to pull through. The entire episode was soul and heart crushing, yet in the end Ishigami was able to share a smile with his friends. The moment Ootomo Kyouko enters the scene, the episode starts hitting like a truck out of nowhere. Right in the middle of Ishigami taking a step, metaphor, literal thing, which doesn't make it much of a metaphor if it's literal, but it's still a symbolic move obviously. She cuts him off, suddenly reminding him of his past and plunging him back into the dark. Even when they are talking about Ishigami becoming the runner, the moment middle school is mentioned, he just loses himself completely. I feel like what makes these so great back to back is how we have been introduced to the available information over the past couple of episodes, and then this series is using the knowledge masterfully to set the tone overall. The sense of the overall atmosphere is established incredibly, Usually when the overall atmosphere and a character's tone is terribly mismatched, it's usually showcased visually. You give the overall scene a saturated and colorful tone, while only taking the color out of the individual character to show they are the broken one from the composition. The fact that they didn't do that here and trusted the viewer to follow along to everything instead, not just their predetermined focus, it works wonders here. Instead of solely focusing on Ishigami breaking because the visuals are pulling my eyes to him, I take the entire scene in, how everybody is having a good time despite the bad situation, and that just makes it all the more effective that Ishigami is right there along with them, sinking my heart to the bottom of the sea. And even when Shirogane and Shinomiya appear to support him, he completely spirals out of control as Kyouko watches him from the back of the line. The flashback. All I'm gonna talk about there are the eyes, which is used outside of the flashback a lot as well, and were used in previous episodes too, although until this point I didn't realize the meaning behind it. I just assumed it was an artistic choice. Well, it was an artistic choice, but not even close to how I imagined it. At the beginning of the flashback, as a person who shines like a bright light onto his life, Kyouko is always portrayed with those large and bright eyes, while her friends are portrayed normally as well, as Ishigami has no feelings about them in the first place. In a moment that gives him sadness, however, both Kyouko and Ogino are portrayed with no eyes, making them feel more abstract, more generic in a sense. Despite that, Kyouko is still regularly portrayed with bright eyes in rest of the scenes as well, for Ishigami still wished for her happiness above all else. The eyes throughout carry the entire weight of the flashback as well as the episode. In the previous section I talked about there being no visual tricks to divert your attention to specific things. Well, that's not entirely true, at least once you realize the eyes trick they had been casually using for the past 2 episodes without any hint of something specific. The decision that you would just assumed not something significant really, probably, until this very moment. In the past 2 skits, the eyes always felt like it was about who Ishigami did and didn't care for in general. Nothing very specific, just some people I care more, some people I care less, because, that's how acquaintances work. In this episode, however, the eyes are there to throw a punch and a dozen more following it. And they never come back, the eyes, until Shirogane comes to support Ishigami one last time, reminding him of what really matters once more. He may not have done the best thing possible, but his goal was met. And the smile of the person he wanted to protect was protected, no matter the cost it had burdened him with. It was such a great moment to get out of that hole. The way Shirogane presented their report, gone through all the council members, meaning they all knew about it in the first place, it just gives so much more meaning to the trust they put into Ishigami throughout all these 2 seasons. And coming full circle to the literal metaphor at the beginning, instead of taking a step into the future, leaving the past behind, he leaps forward and runs as fast as he could. And despite the loss of the team, the support of his teammates picks him back up and opens his eyes to their eyes, finally seeing them for who they are rather than abstract generic props. I have to point it out because I absolutely loved Iino Miko taking a step to support him first before Shirogane stopped her. What matters here is the sense of justice Kobachi talked about last week. Some people just want to stand up and support those in need. And if Kobachi knew about the story that was public, surely Iino Miko did too, but that didn't matter at all. Despite most certainly not being aware of the secret report Student Council had over a year ago, she wanted to step up for Ishigami, and that I find beautiful. As for the final scene, it's a sad one for justice for sure, yeah, but it is honoring Ishigami's wish that Kaguya knew about. Letting Kyouko know would, yes, clear Ishigami's name, but that was never what Ishigami wanted, because the way things had progressed, clearing Ishigami's name meant compromising Kyoko's happiness. And that also ties back to what Shirogane mentioned when presenting the report. He could have done this smarter, but the way he made things progress pushed him into the corner, and there is simply no other way. Clearing Ishigami's name would mean compromising Kyoko's happiness. So, letting her be blissfully ignorant was pretty much the only option left. Certainly the best possible ending given the circumstances in my opinion, to let Ishigami smile again. As for my favorite moment, I will cheat this time. Back in the first episode of the season I said, please pick a specific moment from the episode when asking for your favorite moments. But it's me who will cheat this week. The episode was beautiful through and through, and singling out a single moment as my favorite, it would be a disservice. The entire episode is my favorite moment of this week, this season, and the entire series. But with this high point of the series, we are heading into the season finale next week, followed by the debut of War of Underworld Part 2 the week after. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Links to Kaguya-sama Love is War manga are in the description. Huge thanks to all my patrons and channel members as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, stay cool.